Good morning, Mrs. Benson.
Good morning.
Oh, friends, welcome to New Orleans.
Good to be here.
No,
Some good food already?
Already, yeah.
Started out with beignets on the first day. Yeah, it's been fun.
no, absolutely. And speaking of fun, like I said, we've done this online several times, but this is the first time all three of us have been on a physical stage.
Is it true?
Yes.
Is it really?
We
Oh
haven't
my
been with
goodness.
Patty yet?
I don't think so.
We,
my gosh,
no,
I'm
we've
shocked.
done individuals, and
Yeah.
I've done Spider-Man with you, and
Yeah.
I've done you the solo, but this is the first time we've done this in person. So, oh, isn't it very nice? So, well, let's get to the basic stuff out of the way. I have heard this origin story, but there's probably some people in the audience that still don't know this. So let's just go to the beginning. How did these roles come about for you?
You were a baby.
Yeah, I was.
He was a
I
baby.
was 15. I was doing a show called Day by Day at the time. I was 15 and just got the audition, like any other audition, and none of us had any idea what it was going to be. Of course, this was a different time for Disney, a different time in animation, and so I just went in, auditioned, and didn't really think much of it. When I got the job, I still didn't think much of it. Didn't know. I went in and did my thing, and I was doing the work, and I kind of noticed, there's a video camera over there. And I thought, back in the day, a video camera was like this, And I was like, why is there a video camera set up? And then somebody said, well, the animators, they might want to incorporate some of your expressions. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then, a year went by, a couple years, something, and then all of a sudden, boom, just the Little Mermaid happened. And then year by year, decade by decade, it became this amazing, iconic experience. So for me, it just sort of started off very, just no idea. Yeah, big surprise.
And I was doing a Broadway musical called Smile with Howard Ashman and not Alan Menken, Marvin Hamlish. And our show closed very quickly with a nasty New York Times review. But Howard was already working on The Little Mermaid, so he was kind and gracious to invite a handful of us girls to audition for Ariel. So I'd never been behind a mic before, went into a dance studio in New York City with a reel-to-reel tape, and they had pressed play and record, and I had a cassette tape of Howard singing Part of Your World. So I basically just kind of imitated him and laid down a portion of the song, went to the ladies' room, tried to create a voice in the mirror of what Ariel would sound like, ran back in, put that down on the tape, and time just passed by. So it was a good year, I think, before I got a page on a pager and had quarters in my dance bag for a payphone, 16th and Broadway, and called my agent, and she said, "You got it. You are Ariel." And my statement was, I don't know what an Ariel is, but sounds really fun. So then just started working with Disney, flying back and forth between New York and LA. We were going to remain anonymous, and after 2.5 years, since we are the last hand-painted, hand-drawn, fully featured animated movie for the studio, they decided to reveal who we were. And once the film came out, that was it. And our lives have completely changed, and we're so grateful. It's been a huge heavenly gift, and we're very, very thankful and blessed. So it's been fun.
Amen.
For us as well. Woo! Yeah. Now, when did you both of you begin to realize that this may have eclipsed expectations? What was that first moment to realize, this is doing well. Oh, this is doing really well. When did you realize personally for you that it was like, this is a thing?
I think for me, it would have been close to, because we opened in November of 1989. So I'm saying by Christmas into the first couple weeks of January is when I thought, oh my goodness, this is so far beyond what we anticipated, because Sam and I, at the time we were doing the voice recordings for The Little Mermaid, we were doing another Broadway show together. And again, we were remaining anonymous, so we never really talked about it with anybody. I didn't really say anything to people. And I would say it was around the holiday time. That's when it kind of traveled around the whole U.S. And you could tell things were changing drastically for the studio. And then I think for all of us as cast members as well, we realized this is something different than what we ever dreamed of.
Yeah, I was just a kid at the time, and so I wasn't as business savvy, and I wasn't really thinking of it through that lens. But I remember being at the premiere and just thinking, this is amazing. I mean, I had no idea what to expect because I was just, in a booth in my mind. And I was just looking around at all the people and listening to the reactions of and I just thought, this isn't like just a little cartoon movie. I mean, I just sensed it. And then, of course, it went on to be what it became, and it was just amazing. But yeah, you could feel it at the time.
And I think what was so unique about our film, at least when we were at the premiere and then subsequent screenings after, is the applause after every musical number, which was like a Broadway show. So that was something that I was used to. But when the audience was doing it in the movie theater, that's when I knew that, Howard Ashman really brought something incredibly special to the studio by blending a Broadway musical and a feature animated film. So
that's exactly it. I hadn't. That's yeah.
I'd never been in watching a movie before where people applauded after every musical number. So it was cool.
And there is a slight difference. There was musical bits and classic Disney stuff, but they were cinematic. In kind of scope and style. But what the precedence that Little Mermaid set was that sort of Broadway sense of it too. And and that's sort of like, okay, let's do this. Let's have a toe tapper song. It's Under the Sea. That's the catchy one. It's the soulful one. Stuff that way too, as opposed to incidental. Like the environments of the moment, stuff like that.
So it definitely was the formula for a Broadway musical, which is what Howard and Alan brought to the studio. And then, of course, Part of Your World is your classic I Want song, where at the beginning of a show, beginning of a Broadway musical, you fall in love with the character, you hear their heart and what their dreams and hopes and wishes are. You fall in love with them, and then you root for them to get what they want before the end of the show. Well, that was the formula that Howard, really brought in with Part of Your World.
And it combined that coming-of-age mythology, the coming-of-age myth with mixed with some the Faustian myth of selling your soul, and it's a wonderful blend.
And it's a parent's story too. I think the way for another fish-eating mermaid.
Is that your King Triton? That was pretty good, Patty.
But that moment though, when he just resigns and just shrugs and he puts his name on the paper. To save Ariel, to the way too, and then it turns around and thank you, Daddy,
It's so funny because as a kid also, like I said, I was like 15, and she says something like, I'm 15 years old, or I'm 16 years old, and I remember at the time I'm like, yeah, now I'm like, oh my God, I mean, but it's funny how things change through time.
What's also great about our film is that it really captured the audience of all ages, which was really important for Howard and Alan and for Ron and John, our directors, that they really wanted to capture the attention of all ages so that you could have generations come together, parents and their kids and grandparents come to watch the film together. And obviously there's humor for everybody that can really grab them.
And it has become generational. Yeah. As we see people come up with, they say, I loved it, my kids loved it, now the grandkids are into it. So it's this wonderful, again, it's the combination of the Broadway musical, the myth, the archetype, and it's just, I think that's why it's endured. Yeah. Not to mention your unbelievable portrayal of the character, yeah.
The whole cast was just, we had such an incredible cast. We really did.
Yeah.
We really did. We had an amazing, talented cast that just worked and worked and worked. And Howard, even though he wasn't our director, he was my personal director and just pulled everything out of me and everyone else. So we were so grateful for him.
And I've always said, it's like, beyond the merits of the film on and of itself, what that benchmark of what it sort of led. I've always said, a lot of people forget about Oliver and Company. I always said, Oliver and Company pointed at the door. Little Mermaid opened it, and then Beauty and the Beast walked through it, and then that was the three parts of the Disney Renaissance of that time.
Also, I look back and you think some movies you can sort of see other people in the roles. I mean, and again, I'm thrilled that I was able to play Prince Eric, but a lot of people could have played Prince Eric, but nobody could have played the Little Mermaid or Ursula. You two were I mean, you and Pat, it's just iconic. Iconic. No one, you can't
Pat
imagine
was-
anybody else in those roles.
Well, that's very sweet, very
true.
sweet. But Pat she was one of a kind, really, really brilliant actress, as well as vocalist. But really, I mean, everything that both Pat and I did, though, was handed to us from Howard, because it's his performance. You know, I say all the time, if people love Ariel, you love Howard, because he really, really birthed her. And these characters, you know, it takes a whole team to have them come to life. My lead animator, Glenn Keane, to me is the most brilliant animator living. And he'll say, you know, he had concepts of what Ariel was going to look like and her characteristics and things, but once I came into the studio, that's when she was born. I mean, as soon as I heard your voice on his little Walkman that he had, he would record with this little Walkman. I could see him behind the glass with Ron and John, and he'd be sketching away, and he'd say, as soon as I heard your voice, you know, she showed up. So it's a whole team that creates these iconic characters.
Absolutely is. Well, friends, as always, before I go on out and take some of the questions, thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity, and on behalf of myself and all the fans out there, thank you both. Thank you for your talents, thank you for your professionalism, and thank you for the performances you brought to these roles and your collective entire body of work. You have both done so many wonderful things that brought so many smiles and just so much love, and thank you.
Patty, that's so sweet. Thank you so much.
I
So
try.
kind.
I'll give you that $20 later.
Okay, thanks. Oh, so the price, it's 30
We had
now.
a lot of fun with Patty during the pandemic, because when we were able to do our virtual GalaxyCon. So Patty and I, we didn't really meet in person until long after, but we had been working together so many times.
I know. It's like,
Virtually, I just had little boxes on your screen, so it's so fun.
she didn't see me at first. I said, well, you know, I'm much smaller than I am on the computer. So, so, all right. So, oh wow, we got a lot more people out here. Oh yeah.
He's got goodies.
Oh yeah. Whoever asks a question gets a piece of candy, as long as they stay in the rules and all that fun stuff. All right. So, who thinks they have a question? All right. I'll tell you. What I'll do is I'll do this by section. I'll start over here, go over there, kind of work around here, and all that sort of fun stuff. So I'll start with this gentleman right here. Hey, what's your name?
I'm Brad.
Hi, Brad. What you want to know?
Who are y'all's influence, like, favorite voice actors?
Favorite voice actors? I think it would depend on the character. I think it depends on the character you're playing. You get an inspiration from somebody.
I mean, my influence, obviously, for Ariel was Howard Ashman, because that's the first verse, the very, very first voice that I heard, you know, giving back to me some concepts of Ariel. That's the only person for me.
Or just any of your body of work. Was there anyone outside of voice acting or performing in general that you sort of look to as inspirational?
Barbara Streisand for me. Yeah, I grew up absolutely loving her storytelling and her vocal abilities, but also she's just an incredible leader and director and producer and writer, and all around incredible person. So, yeah, I really have always admired her work.
I've always really admired Anthony Hopkins, Denzel Washington. Those are guys who are like really iconic to me.
Yeah, that's great.
Fair. Fun question. Thanks for starting us off. All right, I'll come over here. I'll do this section. All right, I'll do the young one here. Hey, hi. What's your name?
Katie.
Hi, Katie. What would you like to know?
I wanted to know if they had ever been on the Little Mermaid ride in Disney World.
Yes, every time, actually. Every time I go to the park. And was there for the opening for Walt Disney World and for Disneyland. So, and actually, Pat and I got to open Disneyland's attraction together. So we got to ride it 4 or 5 times in a row for a press event. And that's a great memory of her just cackling and laughing and going through this ride together. It's very fun.
Yeah, I've done it several times too, and it's wonderful every time.
So I assume you've been on it?
Yeah, the
You like it? Okay. No, the one at Disneyland or Disney World?
world.
Oh, okay. While you were at Disney World, did you go to the Monsters Inc. laugh floor?
Definitely.
I used to help the monsters there. Hello, humans. So, all right, there you go. One for you, and here, you have one, too. There you go. Oh, you're very welcome. So, all right. So, all right, we'll take that right here. Hey, what's your name?
My name is also Katie. Which scenes were the most fun to film for you guys?
Well, that's an interesting question because you're alone in a booth. So you're living in your imagination, I mean, for the most part. That's an interesting question. I think it was really just the moment where I realized that they were filming me, which I thought that they were going to incorporate some of my facial expressions. And that's when it really occurred to me how different this was. But the idea of living in your imagination, especially during a shipwreck. I remember that storm scene. I was really sort of imagining just that. It was really interesting.
For me, it would be recording my song, Part of Your World, with Howard. And yeah, those memories are deeply ingrained. And every time I sing the song, I get to have that magical moment back. So yeah, very grateful.
Great question. Thank you. All right. Oh, door. I'll come around this.
To let you know, Patty, we can't see anything.
I
so
know.
We're just following your voice.
By the way, we've gotten a lot more people than we started with, so we got a pretty big house out here. Hey, what's your name?
Michelle, thank you both so much for being here. I wanted to know, is there any character in the Disney universe or fiction or that you would ever like to play?
I would never want to revoice anything, but if there were an addition to, for me it would be Cinderella, just because that's the princess I grew up with as a child and absolutely love that film. I know they've already done all their sequels and their prequels, but that's just a great character that I would love to voice. I mean, that's never going to happen, but I can have a dream.
Well, I guess, Marvel's part of Disney now, right? So, and I did Spider-Man, so they did X-Men 97. So I'm just saying, if they wanted to do some kind of, Spider-Man in 98, I'd be open to that. There we go, right? Absent that, I'm a huge Warhammer 40,000 nerd. So I would like to voice anything in that universe.
For the Emperor.
For the Imperium, that's right.
Great question. Thank you. All right. Anyone? I'll just. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Maggie. Hi, Miss Jodi. So the new Little Mermaid show at Hollywood Studios inside of Disney World just opened, and you were able to surprise the cast and see the show, right? So how magical was that, and was the cast super grateful for you being there?
Oh my gosh, it was super magical, very emotional. I cried like a baby after it was their first run through, and they didn't know, so I did. I surprised them all and sat with the director and watched their very, very first run through, and then just proceeded to sob like a baby after that. It was really special, and for my husband and I with our kids, we've spent a lot of time in that theater, a lot of time. I've seen that show hundreds of times. So to have that theater dark and closed for all these years since the pandemic, it was so wonderful to see it come back to life in this new way. It's a spectacular show. You should definitely see it. The technology is amazing, how they blend live action with animation, with 3D animation. It's incredible. It's a really, really wonderful show. And then went back to do the premiere, and I'll be back there in a few weeks, and I'll be seeing it again. I'm trying to see all 12 Ariels. We have a 12 deep cast, and I need to see each girl, so I'm trying to keep up with their schedule so I can see them all, but they're all incredibly talented.
Cool. Thank you. Fun one. Mm-hmm. All right. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Erica. So my question is, what is it like being such an iconic role, and do you ever get tired, right? Because you're a person, but you've taken on this huge idol character. What's it like?
That's a great question. I think for me, I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. It's a bit of an imposter syndrome. I've learned what that term means from my kids, but a little bit of imposter syndrome where when people come up to the table or at Disney World or places, and I had a lovely young lady, and it might even be you who just asked the question. I'm so sorry, we're blind up here and can't see. That just said, the impact of this film, and the tears are streaming, and she's apologizing for the tears. And I'm always like, don't apologize for your tears. I didn't expect to feel this. And that's where I kind of have that reality of the reaction of somebody responding to me as Jodi, but it's a trigger core memory for them, and the emotions are coming out from the first time they saw the film. Their parent, their grandparent playing in the pool, the way their bedroom was decorated. And so this wave of emotion comes over people when they meet me. And that sometimes is slightly overwhelming, but I'm getting to the place where I'm starting to understand, I just want to hear your story. And that's where the two become one, because when people meet me, I am Ariel to them. But in my brain, I'm Jodi. So I have to kind of switch gears and understand what the trigger is for them. And I'm in physical form, so it's a natural response. So I think what I feel mostly is just grateful and thankful that I get to be a little, cheesy to say, but a little tiny part of your world and of your story and of your journey. And I also feel like it's a real ministry for me, because I do feel like God has given me this amazing platform and this amazing gift to be able to be light, salt, and love to people like all of you on a daily basis. And so I pray for each person that comes to my table that I can meet their needs and their expectations of what this encounter, because it's not just like a, hey, hello, how are you? Can I get an autograph? It's not about that. It's really about their story, sharing it with us, because we are part of their history, part of their life. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, but I think we're just incredibly grateful for the gift, and obviously we don't want to disappoint the guest and have any expectations be broken. So we just try to hear the stories and just, be thankful and grateful that we get to be part of your story.
Yeah, I really can't add anything to that. You said it all beautifully. You said everything beautifully, and it's true. And there's just a sense of gratitude and responsibility. That's how I see it.
That's exactly right. There is that. I do feel that. I know we've talked about this. We feel responsible. There's a great sense of, it's not a heavy weight, but there's weight on it of being responsible to represent our characters and our film, because there's not a lot of us left in our cast. So it's like a beautiful burden, if that's such a way to term it, where we do feel that sense of strong responsibility to maintain our characters for you, the integrity of our characters for you.
Yeah, great myths endure because they speak to the human condition. And when a person engages with a myth, it means something to them, and then it means something about the part of their life, like you were saying. And if we portrayed a character in a myth that speaks to people, then there's that connection. And so we have an obligation to honor that and respect that. And it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because it's something that I spend time thinking about when I meet people. Because, again, sometimes I forget, I'm just Jodi. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. But when I meet people, I really want to lock down and understand your story and how we connect. Yeah. Long answer,
Great.
Sorry.
No, great question. That's worth two pieces. So enjoy that, everybody too. So I think, you know what? I don't think we can top that question. And we got a few minutes left. So would you? You want to? Okay, you want to do that one, and then we'll do the stage will be yours for your little gifts. You're gonna be okay, great. So, hey, what's your name?
Margarita. Hi, I'm Margarita.
Oh, Margarita.
Thank you. I'm from Puerto Rico, so The movie came out when I was about 10 or 11, so this is my childhood, and I still have my original VHS when my dad bought it for us. It's still at my parents' house, and it's one of those rewatch.
And it's still running. It still works.
It still does. I ended up buying the Blu-ray, getting it as a gift because our VHS broke down, and I was like, I want to preserve it, and it's more of like, I have this, and I don't want to wear it out and break it. Growing up, what was something that y'all connected with that you rewatched that was like your comfort food? Southern comfort food was your comfort movie that really just made you happy and brought you joy and calmed you down when you're having a bad day, just really brought you joy and lifted your spirits, because that's what Little Mermaid is for me. Yeah. So what was that for y'all?
For me, it was Cinderella. Yeah, I don't know why. I just really connected with that. And on Sunday nights, it was a long time ago, but on Sunday nights, we had black and white TV, and it was The Wonderful World of Disney with Walt. And he was the host. And then, there'd be a feature film. And that was like going to the movies, because I don't remember really going to the movies that much as a little kid. So for me, it was definitely Cinderella. I just loved everything about that, her wishing for something outside of her little world, and could really relate to that film and just loved that film.
Yeah, for me, that's why I'm such a mythology geek now, because it was comics when I was a kid. No, that was the mythology, and Spider-Man, actually. I was a huge Spider-Man fan and collected Spider-Man comics, so when I got the opportunity to play Spider-Man, that was a dream come true. And then yeah.
No, thank you. And
I gotta
hold
eat
on that
That's
VHS. VHS tapes are starting to become very. There's a rise in collectability of them. So not that that you would ever give it away. They give it away, but people are gonna make you offers. Just sure, that was me too. So we do.